My name is Jake. I'm a man working in civil engineering. I never imagined my life would turn out this way. The thing is, I graduated from a renowned university in New York, but my job hunting didn't go well. I had always thought about working at a brokerage firm, a bank, or an insurance company someday. It was just because I was in the economics department and had a vague interest in those fields. However, I never seriously analyzed myself, so while I passed the written exams, I failed miserably in the interviews. Thus, I graduated without any job offers. I thought about repeating a year to get job offers the next year, but my parents were furious, saying, "It's your fault. We won't pay any extra tuition." Indeed, it was my fault for not being serious, so I couldn't ask them to pay more tuition. So, I started job hunting again as a second-year new graduate, but it was tough to get any offers due to the recession. If even fresh graduates were hardly considered, who would want to hire someone like me with no qualifications? All I had was a driver's license and a second level in a French proficiency test, and it was embarrassing to write that on my resume. Why didn't I seriously study for other qualifications? My peers were working hard on getting various certifications before graduation, and it was clearly my fault. When I started job hunting as a second-year new graduate, I excused myself, saying I was too busy preparing for interviews to study for qualifications. It was because of my lenient nature that I couldn't land a job anywhere. Then, I ended up in civil engineering work by chance. A middle school classmate, Alex, knew I was in an unemployment state and invited me. He looked a bit rebellious, but he was caring and always looked out for me. I accepted his invitation and started working as an apprentice the next day. I was in the baseball team during junior high and high school, so I was fairly confident in my physical strength. But the job was tougher than I expected, and I almost gave up on the first day. It was physically demanding, and the hierarchy was strict. But remembering the times I was pushed hard in the team, I managed to work desperately. Gradually, I was allowed to do more tasks, and I started to feel that even I could be useful. Alex, who invited me, praised me, saying, "You're doing better than expected." The boss, Mike, also said, "You have guts and are meticulous," which made me happy. However, my parents reacted differently. Since I graduated from that renowned university, they always said they wanted me to work in a better workplace. By better workplace, they probably meant a white-collar job. Even though I was gaining confidence in this job, I felt looked down upon and disliked it. So, I moved out of my familiar home and started living alone. I'm no longer a child and don't want to listen to everything my parents say. I decided to think of my father, a teacher, and my mother, a civil servant working at the city hall, as having rigid minds. Life after moving out was lonely at times but free. I wasn't disturbed by anyone and could relax on my days off. At work, I was always doing my best with the help of those around me, and occasionally, I went out drinking with Alex. He's really rebellious, but he understands me. He's a reliable guy. Years passed, and I became fully accustomed to my job. I changed my job a bit, and now I'm doing various things at my own discretion. One day, when I went back to my parents' house after a long time, there was a postcard for a class reunion. I didn't really want to go, but a classmate, Marshall, who called me after the invitation arrived, said, "You have to come," so I decided to go. Marshall was my best friend in college. I tried to appear cheerful in college, but being inherently pessimistic, I was always encouraged by him. When I failed in job hunting, he comforted me and promised to treat me to drinks if I got a job somewhere. And when I started working in civil engineering, he said, "You're doing great," and treated me. I was not too keen, but I would like to go if Marshall came. It had been over 10 years since I graduated, and I wondered what everyone was doing. By that time, I no longer felt ashamed or anything about working in civil engineering. However, I was worried about being ridiculed by everyone. It felt like I was confident, but not really. According to Marshall, the reunion was to be held in a stylish private dining room in Manhattan. It was more of a chic place than a pub. Wow, it's this kind of place. Seems like a nice atmosphere. I checked the restaurant on my cell phone and thought the interior and the food looked very stylish. It seemed like something women would particularly enjoy. Surely the girls from our seminar classes would be pleased. So, I decided to go to the reunion venue. Since it was right after work, I headed there directly. Upon entering the restaurant, the ladies were already seated. It seemed they had gathered early and were led in by the staff. Among them, there was one person who stood out. Her name was Rachel. She was wearing a black sleeveless dress with large earrings and a necklace. That must have been expensive. After all, she was the daughter of a company president. Oh my, if it isn't Jake. Long time no see. Ah yeah. What happened to you after you completely failed your job hunt? Well, I tried job hunting again, aiming for the second-year graduate positions. And where did you end up? Nowhere, didn't get into any. What? I failed all of them, just like the first time. That's hilarious. Jake, you didn't do any proper self-analysis, did you? Well, yeah. Her tone was unpleasant, but it hit the nail on the head, so I couldn't deny it. If I had properly analyzed myself and studied for qualifications, perhaps some company might have picked me up. But I didn't think I deserved to be laughed at by Rachel to the extent that she was cackling. Rachel kept laughing in an unpleasant way. Moreover, her laughter was vulgar, and she was banging on the table. I thought it was unbecoming of a lady from a good family to behave that way, but it felt odd for me to say so, so I kept quiet. So, what are you doing now? Don't tell me you're unemployed. No, I'm definitely working. Oh really? What kind of job? Well, something related to civil engineering. What? Wait a minute. We're graduates of the prestigious W University, and you're telling me you're working in civil engineering. Don't make me laugh. Haha, that's dirty work. Gross. What, are you wearing a suit then? Suits suit you less than work clothes, Jake. That's because, as I was about to say something, I heard a voice from behind. It was Marshall's voice. Hey, long time no see, President Thompson of the $10 million annual sales company. What? Rachel, I heard everything you were saying about Jake. So what? It was loud enough to be heard outside. Marshall, who was a bit late, had arrived and mentioned that Rachel's voice could be heard all the way outside. I had thought Rachel's voice was loud, but it must have been quite the volume. Well, being close to the entrance is one thing, but I think it's a bit much for loud, vulgar laughter and demeaning comments to be heard outside. It's been a long time, hasn't it? 2 years since we last met. Yeah, it's been 2 years since then. Man, I remember treating you last time to celebrate, right? Right, you heard about me and insisted on celebrating. Yay, that's right. Wait a minute, what's this about President Thompson with an annual revenue of $10 million? Huh, you didn't know? This guy, he's a president. What? He started off in civil engineering and now he owns a company, a construction-related company. So, he's not just a worker. Exactly, he's making a killing. What? He's earning more than my dad. Huh? Rachel was angry to learn that I was earning more than her father. She was fuming with her face all red, but I couldn't understand why I was being scolded. After all, I had reached my current position through hard work, so I felt it was unfair to be scolded. In fact, after being invited by a classmate from junior high to start working in civil engineering, I gradually discovered the appeal of the work. Initially, I mimicked what my seniors and Mike were doing and was often scolded, but as I became capable of doing more, I started to enjoy it. And one day, Mike said to me, "You should have your own path." Meaning, instead of working here forever, why not own a company? Over the years, I had juniors under me, and I was told I was good at teaching. Mike believed I could effectively manage young workers. Believing his words, I quit my job and took a leap of faith to establish a construction company. I didn't know much about it, but it turned out I had a knack for management. I focused on how to make the business successful and what would make a comfortable working environment for the employees, working hard every day. Before I knew it, my company's annual revenue had reached $10 million. Now that as a president, of course, he'd wear suits, right, Jake. Yeah, I had a meeting today. What? How can a loser like Jake become a president? That's impossible. What's impossible is Rachel's attitude. Don't you think it's rude to say such things? We can live in houses because people in civil engineering work hard for us. But, so, what are you doing, Rachel? I'm not working. I'm helping out at home. Oh, isn't that what they call an unemployment in society? What? Looking down on others when you're not even working. I thought you might be helping out with your father's business. I'm a president's daughter. I don't need to work. I'm busy with marriage hunting. Marriage hunting, huh? Marshall chuckled a bit maliciously. He probably thought someone as arrogant and ignorant as her wouldn't be favored by men. Our female classmates, well, women now, most of them were wearing rings. Meaning, they were married. Rachel must be feeling the pressure to get married. We're all 35 now, and I guess it's natural for women to feel a bit anxious. I'll marry someone good, so don't make fun of me. Well, do as you like. Yeah, it's Rachel's choice, after all. After that, we all enjoyed drinking and eating together. As we got progressively more intoxicated, the conversation turned to the idea of heading to a second venue among the singles. The married women left, citing they had left their children with their husbands, but Rachel stayed behind. I'm so drunk. Can someone take care of me? Rachel, you've had too much to drink. But I love drinking. I want to drink more. Are you going to the after party? I'm going. I want to drink more. But aren't you too drunk? Isn't that dangerous? Jake, stay by my side. Huh? I have fallen for you, Jake. Well, I'll make you my special soup every day from now on. Become my husband, right, Mr. President? Hey, I don't want to. Rachel was coming on to me, trying to touch me all over. It might be flattering to be approached by a woman, but I couldn't take advantage of a drunk woman. Besides, Rachel had just ridiculed me earlier. So, I couldn't genuinely feel happy about it. She probably said these things because she wanted a man, especially a president like me, to support her. Was it all just an act of being drunk? Or was she genuinely intoxicated and wanting to be with me? It's hard to tell. Either way, I dislike people who only say convenient things, regardless of gender, so I turned her down. Sorry, but I can't date you, Rachel, and I'm not considering marriage. What? How can you say that? You're only acting this way because you found out I'm a president, aren't you? No, it's not an act. I really think you are the one. That's why I'm saying this. Well, it doesn't matter either way. I just don't like women who only act out of convenience. Sorry, but look elsewhere. No way. Drunk to the point of incoherence, Rachel ended up crying on the sidewalk. It looked like we were bullying her, making her cry, which I wanted to avoid. Marshall was also exasperated, trying to help her stand up. Then, he hailed a taxi, giving the driver Rachel's address. Pay the fare with us. You don't have to return the change. You'd better go home and sleep it off, Rachel. I wanted to go to the after party. Marshall, being a good guy, handed over $100 for Rachel's taxi fare. It probably wouldn't cost that much, but he said to keep the change, which I thought was really generous. I remember once when I lost my wallet as a student, he searched for it with me. Eventually, it was found and turned into the police, and I went to collect it, but he took care of me in many ways, including treating me to lunch during that time. Man, thanks for today. My brother was really grateful for the good deal he got. It's me who should be thanking you. I OP'd a lot. Jake, you've really grown up. It's amazing, you being a president and all. No, I've still got a lot to work on, but I hear you're doing great too, Marshall. Not really. Marshall is an elite at a trading company, and his brother Pete works with my company. So he often hears about me through his brother. Today, I had a business meeting with his brother, Pete. Meanwhile, Marshall had to reschedule an appointment at the last minute, which is why he was late. I try my best, but I guess I'm not cut out to be a president or anything like that. I don't think so, but I am where I am today because you encouraged me, and you're working hard too. I'm not good at sales, you know. It's a relief to hear you say that. My wife recently found out she's 3 months pregnant, so this will be our third child. I want to earn more to make their lives easier. Really? Congratulations. Haha, thanks. I'm going to be a father of 3 now. That's amazing. And here I am without even a girlfriend. Oh, should I introduce you to someone? There's this woman at my company. Hard-working and beautiful, yet single. Really. She's been trying to find a boyfriend. Maybe you should meet her. Sure. Following that, I met with Sophia, a woman introduced by Marshall. She worked at Marshall's company, holding her own in a general position just like her male colleagues. However, she had a modest, not flashy impression. Contrary to my preconception that women in trading companies, being high earners, would love brand names, she was different. I've been single since my boyfriend broke up with me 4 years ago. I see. But I'm so glad I met you, Jake. You're so friendly. Would you consider seriously dating me? Me? Really? Yes. You seem so sincere and kind. Thank you. I also have the same feeling to you. This is how Sophia and I started dating. Sophia was younger, at 30 years old. Being 5 years younger, she appeared even younger and more childlike, perhaps due to her light makeup and simple appearance. We went on dates every weekend, spending many enjoyable times together. I'm truly grateful to Marshall for introducing me to Sophia. A year passed, and it was Christmas. My business was doing well, and despite being busy, I was enjoying every day. Thinking it was the right moment, I prepared to propose. Sophia, please accept this. What's this? Will you marry me? I opened a box with the engagement ring inside. Sophia's face beamed with joy, clearly delighted. Then, she gently tucked the ring and slid it onto her finger. It's beautiful. You got this for me. I want to be with you forever. When I graduated from college, my job hunt was a disaster. I didn't follow the elite path like you, and it's been a roundabout journey, but now, I'm confident in myself. Yes. I want to work even harder, contribute more to society, and I want to walk through life with Sophia by my side. So, please marry me. Thank you, I'm looking forward to it. Yes. Getting a yes from Sophia was exhilarating. I wanted to pick her up and spin around with joy. Later, Sophia and I met up with Marshall. Wow, you two are really getting married. Congratulations. It's all thanks to you, Marshall. Yes, all thanks to you. You're a hard worker and great at cooking too. You'll be a great wife. I enjoy cooking, so I'm glad. Remember that beef stroganoff you made for me? That was delicious. I learned a lot from my mother, so I'm pretty good at it. I'm not great at cooking, so I guess I'll be learning from you. After that, we officially got married. My parents, who now fully accept me, were in tears. Sophia, surprisingly not prone to tears, seemed fine even when reading a letter to her parents during the ceremony. She might be quite a resilient woman. I feel incredibly lucky to be married to such a wonderful person. And so, our life together as a couple began. Sophia continued to work at the trading company, and I kept on with my duties as a president. The company has grown significantly, and although I could support us without Sophia needing to work, I respected her wish to continue her career. We live in an era of gender equality, and I value Sophia's opinions. Despite her busy schedule, Sophia always manages to cook delicious meals. In return, I take care of other household chores and cook on weekend. It brings me great joy to make dishes I learned from Sophia and see her happy. You're getting better at this. Amazing. Really. Thanks. Maybe it's because you're good with your hands. Weren't you a worker before? I guess that involves a lot of detailed work. Oh, that's just my assumption. Well, I don't know about that, but I've always liked building model kits and assembling computers. So, I guess I don't mind detailed tasks. Cooking is kind of like assembling too, right? Chopping ingredients and mixing spices just right. Exactly. A small mistake can lead to a disaster. Well, to me, your cooking is the best. Stop, you're making me blush. As we settled into married life, we gradually learned more about each other. Although we'd been dating for a year, I hadn't realized how much Sophia laughed. Initially, she seemed demure and simple, but now she comes across as very cheerful. Having such a wife gives me the energy to excel at work every day. 2 years later, Sophia got pregnant. We wanted children and were blessed almost immediately. I was overjoyed, holding my wife's hand and shedding tears. When she bravely gave birth, I vowed to be a good father. Years have passed since then. Marshall, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He became ill and passed away. I was deeply saddened by his death, but I remain grateful to him. I have a family and a happy life, thanks in large part to Marshall. I especially appreciated how he supported me when Rachel was being unpleasant. I don't believe being a president makes me superior, but without Marshall's intervention, I might have continued to be disparaged. Marshall always looked out for me, despite my timidity. I occasionally contact his wife and visit with my family to pay respects. I'm determined to live in a way that would make Marshall proud.